Okay, so as always, I am Miss Tanya, and we are live in the salon. I am doing what's called unedited, unpracticed, uncut footage in my salon because I believe I have what's called actual situations, actual clients, and actual challenges that I think we all face and have with our hair. So I have Miss Tony here, who is what you call a long-term client. She's been in my chair for at least 6 years. So she's got beautiful hair. However, I have just stumbled last year across this amazing inorganic water that I'm calling MYWater Hair and Skin Solution. And one thing that we have all determined, or not all, the ones that come to Tanya Does Hair have determined that it works. But in addition to this, the effectiveness and the safeness of my product, I'm now going to start kind of gauging what I call the long-term effects of my product. So what we're doing here with Miss Tony is I'm just doing what I do, which is why I have the knowledge base that I have. I ask questions. We don't have time really to gossip. We try, just like we were trying to do in the sink, but my mind's going to click back to hair and we get real focused because it's real serious in here. So what we're doing is just talking about her at-home care, because this is something that a stylist usually has no clue about what a client's going through once she leaves her chair. So I would just like to kind of go over and find out what Miss Tony is able to do or not having to do now that she has the water in her life. So Miss Tony, do you wrap at night?
I do wrap.
Do you wrap? What do you wrap with? Do you use a bonnet?
I use a scarf and a bonnet.
Oh, gotcha. So I just want to point out real quick. Just real quick, a lot of confusion about what type of scarf. Does everybody see how big?
No, it's
Does
fine.
everyone see how big this scarf is? Most of you are buying shoulder scarves that are about this wide. That's not going to stay on your head. Guaranteed it's going to pop off. So you've got to open your scarves while you're in the beauty supply stores and check to make sure it's the big ones. At any rate, we got to keep it moving, but I was trying to find out that whether or not she wraps, because every time this woman walks in, her hair is amazingly straight and shiny. And being a long-term client, she's never walked in the way she does now. Before I was using water, back when I was conditioning and using oils to kind of control the hairs, they weren't walking in this silky and shiny. So we're just going to keep it moving because I would like to also now exemplify a blow dry. I use a Silver Bluebird 2000. You may not be able to hear me, but just watch. Check your time. My time is 9:59. I'm about to have her fully blow dried by 10:05. By the way, no product, and you know this because I have no steam and smoke in my area with blow dry. Hold on, y'all. Told y'all this is unedited. Let's get y'all a little closer. That's better. But notice how easy I'm able to just glide from the scalp to the ends on non-chemically treated hair. That's unheard of. I haven't used anything on her hair except for Elucence Moisture Benefit Shampoo and MYWater. I am now done with her first quadrant. Normally I'd have still been up here dealing with the ends and trying to detangle. So my water is also a detangler. It's definitely going to soften, which allows easy comb-throughs and blow dries. Only 3 minutes in, I'm halfway done with her hair. Warm back there. Warm in the middle. The top, this side, and this side. Thank you. Like I said, the time now is only 10:04. I beat my time by 1 minute. But I've never been able to blow dry that fast. Never in all my 26 years of doing hair have I ever blown through non-chemically treated textured hair that fast. So you be the judge of what you want to keep doing and using. But for this service, this is what's called, what Miss Tanya calls, because everything I state in these videos is my opinionated advice based on my individual experience and my individual accumulation thereof. You must take what I say, research it to determine if it's something you want to follow, mimic, or copy. So I'm going to now flat iron her. The time now is coming up on 10:06. I will have this client flat ironed and done by 10:30. So let's get to talking. I want to go over what you guys just witnessed in the video during the blow dry, which was the fact that I blow dry in all 4 directions. I've seen a lot of videos and I've been instructed a lot of times to only dry hair in one direction. I had to learn the hard way that it's best to do it in all 4 directions. So you watched me start what I call on the inside. I then worked my way around her back. Then I flipped the hair over. I then took it to the left. I took it to the front. Then I took it to the back. The key and fastest way to determine whether or not the scalp is dry is you also saw me blowing the blow dryer into the client's scalp. There's no way you can look at skin and determine if it's dry or not. The client has to tell you that. So even by sitting a client under the dryer may not be an effective way to dry your client's scalp. So in here, my clients not only receive a clean scalp, but I'm gonna start flat ironing with the dry scalp. A lot of times the problem with poofy flat irons is that the scalp is not dry. And if you put heat to moisture, that equals crinkled hairs. So one thing I've also learned and noticed about MYWater is that because the hairs are completely clean, or cleaner than ever before, I want to technically say, everything seems to work better. This is why I just blow dried her in 5 minutes, because I'm no longer fighting all the contaminants that remain on the hair after the exposure to tap water. Never knew this, you guys. All these years I've been blaming the frizz and the hardness of textured women's hair on them. And I mean, sometimes it is the client's fault, but primarily on products. I thought it was the shampoos and I thought it was the bleach on the towels. Never in a million years would I have ever thought that it was our tap water doing this to us. So in my salon, I am the only salon in Colorado that is utilizing inorganic water to soften, enhance, and service women with inorganic water. Makes so much sense when you just stop and think about it. And I know some people can't seem to wrap their minds around it, because I couldn't either. When I first came into the knowledge of this function, it was like, water don't do nothing. You got to put something in water in order for it to work. So I thought. So you guys can fast forward the video if you'd like, because some actually want to watch the whole flat iron. I realized I maybe should have you guys on this other side of me. Over. But that'll come. I'll get better with each video. These are my first videos. So I'll get better and the videos will get better. But some of you should know I've decided to personally remove myself from Facebook. And not for business reasons. I understand that I have accumulated quite a few clients through Facebook. But I've noticed that those individuals are on these other social media networks just as well. But it's the personal stuff that gets on my nerves on Facebook. So I have a hard time filtering stuff, so I just decided to leave it alone altogether. So we're now on YouTube. And because I'm so busy, I really don't have time to be editing and retaping and looking over stuff and redoing it. That stuff will take me all day to do a video. So what I want to kind of do is kind of like create this reputation for my videos being live and uncut, salon, real life situations and scenarios. I do get them. And actually, Miss Tony, would you like some wine? Complimentary wine. Tanya does hair. Today Today is the Friday before New Year's, so I'm doing complimentary wine. And if not, I also would like for you to take advantage of some party favors.
Awesome.
That you can take with you. You know, I always try to do something. I was a little slow for Christmas.
I'll do the party favors. Like that.
Good. I think it's a 3-piece. You get a little crown hat situation, a necklace, and a horn.
Aww.
So I'm coming around to the back, and I am utilizing a Marcel because it's my upbringing. It's what I know. It's what I was taught. And to me, I love being in control. So I can't stand plug-ups because they only get so hot. My Marcels, I can adjust the temperature to my liking or to what's needed based on the client's density or texture. But I just like to kind of point out the time right now is only 10:12, and I'm already halfway done with her hair. I am coming up and around the back now. Also, something else I want to point out that I do not do in my salon, which is pass the Marcel over each subsection more than 2 times. We have to be mindful of the heat, the added heat that we're using. And each pass is just added exposure into the cortex with that heat. So you can begin to scorch hair. A lot of women don't realize that hairs can be scorched, which means they didn't turn brown. Just means that they've hardened. You've killed it, but you didn't burn it. Burn means that it's going to turn brown. So I've noticed that the water allows the heat to penetrate so much better. I don't need to pass over each subsection 4 and 5 and 6 times. Once and then another to control the ends, and that's all. Also, notice that I haven't used anything in here. I believe less is best. I'm proving it. We can choose to use all that extra stuff on the market, but why would we if we can get the same results holistically? I think that's a no-brainer these days. It's just that it's hard to grasp. I mean, I'm instructing everyone to use just water. That's right. It's all we need. God put water here for me and you. He didn't say to use all these chemicals. He didn't put all that stuff here. These peoples did. Is today your trim day?
I believe so. I think
I'm gonna
so.
get some because I can see some.
That's what I thought. I was like, if I'm not sure, I'm sure she can see.
Yep, so I believe what I will do for the upcoming year on the trims, if it's just my minimal cultivating, there's no charge.
Okay.
I have some ladies that choose to not come in for a long time. That results in a lot of dead ends.
Yeah.
Those will be the ones that need a full head trim, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll suffer the cost. I've been doing a lot of thinking and how I'm structuring everything, and I just think that that should be part of the service. Just the maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like not flat ironing each section, like you cool with just your bangs, you know?
Right.
And sending you out the door. And look at that shine and that bounce and the straightness. She's not poofy. She's not standing up on top of her head. She is straight to the bone from the root all the way to the ends. Forget silk presses. I'm baptizing hair.
Amen.
It's hair hallelujah.
Hey.
Hair hallelujah. It's about time.
Yes,
Hair hallelujah.
it is. I can testify.
Yep, I can too. Even just being a stylist for as long as I have, I've tried quite a few things. I've done a Brazilian blowout. I have tried a keratin treatment. I have done relaxers. I almost put a damn perm in my hair at one point. I've done a jerry curl. I've done weaves. I've done braids. I've done everything that this market introduced to us. And I've always been different. My mother can tell you she's always had a mind of her own. She ain't never wanted to listen to nobody. Because by listening to somebody, which were these educators and these manufacturers, a lot of stuff was backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we were in cosmetology school, I'll never forget that they would call us out of class, like the educators,
Mm-hmm.
to do styles, you know. And I'll never forget, let me back up. My mother is Indian, and so she has extremely thin hair. So the regimen in my family was to roller set the hair and then back comb each section to make each section stand up on their heads. They were trying to copy the afros because they really couldn't obtain it on their own.
Right.
Well, long story short, I grew up sitting on the toilet watching my mom snatch all that hair out because she teased her hair every night before she went to work. So I can remember my inner person as a young girl was like, why does she keep doing that to her hair? Because she keeps having to snatch it out just to comb it out. Long story short, back to school. We are called out of class to go watch this educator do a French roll. And he happened to be demonstrating on a mannequin, which is a little misleading practice. That's like having a carpenter try to nail some carpet down in some water.
Right.
I mean, you might can do it, but why would you instruct that way? You know,
Right.
That's not good experience or practice. He took this mannequin, smoothed the sides real pretty. He took that hawk section and teased the whole thing. Now, mind you, everybody else is just, ooh, ah. And I'm standing there saying to myself, he's tearing up that mannequin. He's not going to be able to comb that. I was past the look of what he was doing.
Right.
And I was past, I guess, the ease and the quickness of critiquing that French bun like that. I've always thought beyond the actual process. Well,
Right.
what's going to happen tonight when she needs to comb that?
Right.
You about to snatch half her hair out by giving her a big old French bun. I've been and left halfway through the demonstration like I'm going back to class because he's teaching you guys at the door to tease hair, which terribly tangles it, and you're going to lose hairs.
Right.
So I used to think, why are they teaching us to do bad stuff to our hair? And it's so true. So the time right now is 10:20 by my clock. I now just have her right quadrant to do, and we'll be done. It used to take me 2 hours to do a client when I was conditioning and not treating the water with inorganic water. It took me a while to blow dry. It used to take me like at least 20 minutes to blow dry each client. Then maybe, depending on the length and the density of the client's head, determined how long it took me to flat iron. So some clients, it was taking me 2.5 hours to get them done because I had so many hairs to deal with, or so much more hair to deal with. And now, man, I have never flown through clients the way I do now. It's very relieving to be able to use something that is truly helpful and safe. That's the kicker. I've had some things that were helpful. Relaxers was helpful. It softened our hair, made it straighter, longer. It was helpful. But man, we was taking a huge risk. And a lot of people have suffered. permanent scars and results based on using sodium hydroxide in our heads. So this is amazing, amazing grace. So pretty, so soft and silky, so easy, so light, and then it stays. Most girls, I've found out that normally when you get your hair done in a salon and they have not properly treated the cortex before the cuticle shuts down, wake up the next morning. I mean, you're pretty when you leave the chair. This is where the industry has kind of done good, is because the chemicals change your hair, makes it straighter, forces it to be shiny. So you leave the chair like, ooh. And then as soon as you go home and life happens, it's over. It's like, And then you're either redoing your own hair, or some girls choose to rock that look. Like I said, my girls are coming back in here beautiful. Sometimes I have to ask, like, did you just go get your hair done? Because you guys look amazing coming back. Man. Amazing.
My flat irons have dust right now. I don't know.
What did you say, Miss Tony?
My flat irons have dust because I don't even.
Because you don't use them anymore.
No.
That's huge. That's all I'm trying to do, is just change our minds